So you're thinking about getting your first luxury watch. Awesome. But yeah, it can feel like you're stepping into this huge, kind of complicated world, right? You've got movements, all these brands, and some pretty intimidating price tags. But you know what? Don't worry about it. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to lay out a super clear roadmap to help you navigate all that stuff. The goal? To help you find a timepiece you'll be genuinely proud to wear for years and years.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to break down what entry-level luxury actually means. Then, we'll build out a personal framework so you can find the perfect watch for you, not for anybody else. After that, the fun part. We'll check out some top picks by budget. And finally, we'll cover where and how to buy safely and the true cost of ownership. Stick with me, and by the end of this, you're going to feel like a total pro.
All right, first step. What is entry-level luxury? Let's move beyond those fashion watches. So, what really separates a true luxury timepiece from, a simple fashion accessory you might grab at a department store? Let me tell you, the difference is, it's massive.
At its heart, an entry-level luxury watch is all about craftsmanship and heritage. It's not just about a price tag. We're talking about brands that have a real history. Some have been making watches for a century or even longer. They use top-notch materials like sapphire crystal and surgical-grade steel. And this is the big one, they usually have a mechanical movement inside. It's like having this tiny, intricate engine on your wrist, all powered by springs and gears, no battery needed. Pretty cool, right?
This really shows you where your money is going. With a fashion watch, let's be honest, you're mostly paying for a logo on a dial. You're getting a cheap, battery-powered quartz movement and a crystal that's probably going to scratch if you look at it wrong. But with entry-level luxury, you're investing in the watch itself. We're talking a sophisticated mechanical movement, a sapphire crystal that is incredibly hard to scratch, and a design that comes from a deep history of horology. That's the actual art and science of watchmaking. It's built for timelessness, not just for trends.
Okay, on to our next section, your personal watch framework. This is all about finding the right watch for you. And honestly, this is probably the most important part of the whole process. We need to figure out what you actually want and what you really need. This simple framework is going to help us cut through all the noise, all the hype you see online.
So just 3 simple steps. Number 1, set your budget. And be realistic here. It's not just the purchase price, you got to think about future service costs too. Number 2, define your style. I mean, what are you going to use this for? Daily wear, fancy events, sports? For a first watch, versatility is absolutely key. You want something that looks just as good with a t-shirt as it does with a suit. And finally, number 3, know the specs. This is about deciding on the movement type. Do you want an automatic that winds itself as you move, or are you more of a grab-and-go person who'd prefer a high-end quartz? And of course, getting the right size for your wrist.
Now listen up, because this is a huge pro tip that can save you from some serious buyer's regret. The number 1 cause of it? Ignoring how the watch actually fits on your wrist. I'm telling you, fit is everything. A watch could have the most amazing specs on the planet, but if it's not comfortable, you're just not going to wear it. And here's the secret. Don't just focus on the case diameter. The number that's often more important is the lug-to-lug distance. That's the measurement from the very top of the lugs to the very bottom. That's what really tells you how a watch is going to sit and feel on your wrist.
Okay, let's get to the really fun stuff, top picks by budget. Now that we have our framework, let's take a look at a curated gallery of some really great choices out there on the market right now. We'll break them down by price.
First up, the accessible sweet spot, $1,000 to $3,000. Honestly, the value you can get here is just incredible. Take the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. It has that super cool retro integrated bracelet style and an 80-hour power reserve. That's a total game changer at this price point. I mean, you can take it off on a Friday and it'll still be running on Monday morning. Wild. Then you've got the Hamilton Cockeyfield Auto, a durable, versatile, legendary tool watch. And for a real step up in Swiss precision, you have Longines with their amazing Spirit Pilot watches or the Hydro Conquest dive watches.
Next, let's look at the prestige tier, from about $3,000 to $5,000. Okay, this is where things get really exciting. You start seeing what's called in-house movements. That means the brand actually designed and built the watch's engine themselves, which is a huge mark of prestige. The Tudor Black Bay 58 is a perfect example. It's got that killer vintage dive watch vibe, but with a totally modern in-house movement. Then there's the Oris Aquis with their Caliber 400, which is a groundbreaking 5-day power reserve. 5 days. And of course, you can't talk about this price point without mentioning the Cartier Tank Must. It's just iconic, timeless elegance, a true gateway into high horology.
All right, Section 4, where and how to buy. You've navigated the choices, you've picked your watch, awesome.
But now, where do you actually buy it? This is a really important step, and you basically have two main paths to choose from.
So, you can go to an authorized dealer, an AD, or you can buy from a trusted pre-owned seller. Going to an AD gets you the full manufacturer warranty, guaranteed authenticity, and that whole boutique experience. It's definitely the safest, most straightforward way. But the pre-owned market can offer some serious cost savings and a much wider selection of models, including discontinued ones. You can often get more watch for your money, for sure. The catch? You don't get that manufacturer warranty, and it means you have to do a lot more research on your end.
And if you do decide to go the pre-owned route, here are a few tips for buying safely. You absolutely have to research the seller's reputation. I mean, really dig in. Insist on the original box and papers. That's so important for authenticity and for resale value down the line. If you can, verify the serial numbers. And always, always ask for some kind of certification or proof of authenticity. Just remember the golden rule of buying anything, really. If a deal seems way too good to be true, it probably is. But the safest way, hands down, is always an authorized dealer.
Okay, last section, and this is something that a lot of first-time buyers forget about, the true cost of ownership. Because that initial price tag, that's really just the beginning of the story. Let's talk about the long game. I love this quote. Luxury watches are not lottery tickets, they're long-term assets. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? You're not buying some disposable gadget here. You're getting a finely tuned machine that, with the right care, is meant to last a lifetime, maybe even longer. So yeah, think of it less like a scratch-off ticket and more like an asset that you're going to own and maintain over time. So, when we talk about total cost, it's really easy to forget the other stuff. Look, a mechanical watch is like a car. It needs to be serviced to keep running properly. You're looking at a full service about every 5 to 7 years. And yeah, that's going to be a couple $100, maybe more, each time. That's a big chunk of the long-term cost. And for something this valuable, you're definitely going to want to think about insurance. It's a small percentage, but it buys you a whole lot of peace of mind. But here's the good news. Here's the upside. While most typical luxury goods lose a ton of value, think about a car driving off the lot, heritage Swiss watches hold their value incredibly well. Sure, most entry-level watches will depreciate a little bit, but they retain a huge chunk of their original price compared to other luxury items. So when you buy a good watch from a solid brand, you're actually making a much smarter long-term purchase.
So at the end of the day, what story will your first watch tell? Because buying your first luxury watch, it's really not just about telling time, is it? It's about choosing a companion for your own personal journey. This is something that's going to be with you for promotions, for travels, for all those huge life moments. It's going to pick up scratches and dings, and each one of those is going to be a part of your story. So the real question isn't just what watch you should buy. It's what story is your watch going to tell?